Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And to all my brothers out here preaching His truth, to you, I say Shalom. This is a Montazar from the Chicago camp, coming back at you with part 2 of Swines, Flesh, Strange Religion, because I fear Him. So in part 1, we laid the foundation, okay? And we saw that the people of God's curse, all right, whom the Lord actually hates, all right, is switching up the scriptures and trying to teach and explain to you that it's okay to eat swine's flesh or pork, right? And Jake being discontinued from his heritage, okay, didn't know who he was, all right, now are being wakened up all over the world, all right, because of this word, all right. And the Apocrypha, which was hidden, all right, for a time, is now being used to shed light on how we became Gentiles in the first place. I remember when my sister, she reached out to me, a couple of years back, and she was talking about her wicked boyfriend said we're Israelites, you know, and she said, "What you think about that?" And I told her, I was like, "Well, the Lord ain't dealing with no damn Israelites, right?" And this is what I said because I was filled with Christianity. So I told her that the Lord is dealing with the body of Christ, which is believing Jews and Gentiles, all right, in one body. And then the Lord opened up my eyes to who the Gentiles were. The Gentiles are Israelites, okay? And we became uncircumcised through Hellenization, okay? The Hellenization. So that's what led to Paul's journeys, okay? His journeys was to go into these places where Israelites were Hellenized and explain to them who they truly were, just like we're doing today, okay? All right. So with that being said, let's get into what we came here for. So this is part 2 of Swine's Flesh, Strange Religion, because I fear him. So we're going to read the memorial of Eleazar. This is 2nd Maccabees, the 6th chapter. We're starting at 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High. So Edom was always trying to compel us to leave the laws, okay? That's why when you read the book of Maccabees, you see the Idumeans, okay, Edom, forcing us or constraining us to eat swine's flesh, okay, forcing us to break the laws, killing our women because they circumcised their babies. Oh, yeah, you got to read it for yourself. But that's why we're reading it now. Verse 2. Well, let me start 1 again. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in garrison of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles. Now, these are the natural Gentiles, okay? These are the natural Gentiles, all right? When the Israelites became Gentiles, it was because they were living after the manner of the Gentiles. Now, these are the natural Gentiles, Idumeans, all right, that are in Jerusalem, okay? And they were profaning the temple, okay? For the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbidded. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days, or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. And in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the fast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. All right, so it's very, very plain and very, very clear. All right, that Esau, Edom, was putting the Jews to death, okay, for not following his ways, for not for not denouncing our power. Now that's some wicked shit. Verse 10. For there were two women brought who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly led around the city, the babies handing at their breasts, or should be hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall. Now, circumcision, all right, was given to the Lord. It was given by the Lord to Abraham for a covenant throughout our generations. All right. See, it wasn't given, all right, to Esau, Edom. It was given to Abraham. All right. And he passed it on through his seed, Isaac, Jacob. Okay. It was his covenant. Okay. Now you have Esau, Edom, who's not part of that covenant. He's so jealous, he want to keep you, all right, from observing and keeping that covenant. So here he is throwing these women with their children over the wall. Verse 11. And others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, being discovered by Philip, were all burnt together because they made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day. Talking about the Sabbath. Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. For it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us. Lest that being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us. And therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us, and though he punish with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people. But let this that we had spoken be for a warning unto us. Now will we come to the declaring of the matter in a few words. All right, so here we go, Eleazar. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth to eat swine's flesh. But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live staying with such an abomination, spit it forth, and came of his own accord to the torment. As it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted. But they that had the charge of that wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king, that in so doing he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor. So you had his so-called friends who he's had long relationship that didn't sell out, told him, hey, you can eat whatever meat that's lawful, but just act like it's swine's flesh. So in the sight of the people, just act like it's swine's flesh. That way you don't die. Right? Verse 23. But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, whereon was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law, made and given by the Most High. So therefore, he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave. For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, okay, so that's 90, were not gone to a strange religion, okay, and that's why the title of this lesson is Swine's Flesh, Strange Religion, because I fear him, okay. So he said he don't want people to think him being that old went to a new religion, a strange religion. And that's what Christianity is. Christianity is a strange religion that's teaching you it's okay for you to eat swine's flesh. Verse 25. And so they through mine hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to my old age and make it abominable. For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. Wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will show myself such as one as my age requireth, and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. I'm going to have to read that again because we're talking about the memorial of Eleazar. Okay, verse 28. And leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. Now, the law can't be honorable and holy and then just done away with. Do that make sense? Hey, this is honorable and holy. Let's do away with it. All right. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. They that led him, changing the good will, they bear him a little before into hatred. So the same guys who was acting like they was trying to help him, all right, it all turned into hatred. Because of the foresaid speeches proceeded, and as they thought, from a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten, but in soul am well content to suffer these things because I fear him. And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a notable courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation. Eleazar's death was a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation. All right, so the Lord is not going to have Eleazar die as a memorial of virtue just so you can eat pork today. That makes no sense. But who's giving you this rhetoric? Let's go into my note for 30, because this note right here for 30, let's see. You got Psalms 10 and 4. It says, the wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. That's important to know. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 15 through 20. He is grievous unto us, even to behold, talking about Jake. So this is the mindset of Esau Edom. For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. Damn right. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. Exactly. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of the Most High, he will help him and deliver him from the hands of his enemies. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. You see, this is the mindset of Esau Edom. And it's the same person that's trying to tell you what the Bible means. Okay? All right, I'm glad you were with me for this part 2 of Swine's Flesh, Strange Religion, because I fear him. Okay? So I pray that this lesson was edifying. I'll see you on part 3.